Hello everyone. In the first part, we have seen everything about the lasers in general. Now, in this video, I'm going to start about the lasers which are used in dentistry and the application in endodontics. These are the five lasers which are used in dentistry. Now, we are going to see all these five lasers in depth and we are going to describe them under this six headings, that is the active medium. Now, all about this active medium I have explained in the last video. Then, what is the wavelength of that particular laser? Then, how it is delivered? Then, the emission mode, whether it is pulsed or non pulsed. Then, how is the tissue absorption and the clinical application. So, we are going to see all these five lasers under this six headings. Starting with the first one, that is Nd:YAG. So the wavelength for this Nd:YAG, it is 1064 nanometers. That is, it lies in the range of that infrared range. So over here, it lies over here in this infrared invisible thermal radiation. It is, so the active medium, it is a solid active medium, and it is a crystal of yttrium, aluminium and garnet, which is doped in neodymium. So it was the first laser which was designed exclusively for dentistry. So this was the first laser. Then the delivery system, it is a fibro optically delivered, and the so this Nd:YAG, it is delivered in the pulsed mode and with the contact to the tissue. Now about this pulse mode, what is this fibro optic delivered, everything I've explained in the last video. Then it is readily absorbed in the blood and the tissue pigments. Now these instruments, they are ideal both for the treatment of periodontitis and for the excision of the vascularized lesion, as they have the excellent hemostatic ability. So because of that, it can be used in vascularized lesion. Their energy, it is transmitted through water and they are very minimally interactive with the hard tissue. So what is the clinical note for this? So the pulsed Nd:YAG, it is ideal for the soft tissue procedures and for the root canal sterilization. So this is your clinical application as per your endodontics. Next one is the diode. So diode, it is, so the active medium, it is again a solid state semiconductor laser that uses a combination of aluminium, gallium and arsenide that converts the electrical energy into the light energy. Now the wavelength for this diode is 800 to 980 nanometers. Then it is delivered fibro optically only. It can be delivered in continuous or pulse mode, and it is commonly used in contact with tissue. Now this diode, it is poorly absorbed by the tooth structure, hence the soft tissue surgeries, it can be safely performed. Now this diode lasers, they are poorly absorbed by the hard tissue, and because of that you are using diode in the soft tissue surgeries. Now the advantage is it is compact, portable and economical. So this is how it looks. So this is a diode. Now this is compact, it is portable because it is very small in size. So this diode laser, it is well absorbed by the pigmented tissue and it is good for soft tissue surgical lasers which are indicated for the precision cutting and the coagulation of the gingiva. And this diode, it is used for soft tissue surgeries. Next is the CO2 laser. So it was the first laser which was used routinely for the soft tissue surgeries. Now since the human body, it contains about 85% of water and the value for the soft tissue is even higher, so this CO2 laser, it will be absorbed in the water part of all the soft tissue. So this laser, it gets absorbed in the water part. Now the wavelength, now you can see over here the wavelength is too high, so this is 10,600 nanometer. Then the active medium, it is a gas active medium. Then this CO2 is delivered through a hollow tube. Now the two which we have already seen, they are delivered through fiber optic. Now this CO2, it is delivered through a hollow tube like a waveguide in continuous, or it is like delivered in gated pulse mode. So they are used in non-contact manner. Then the advantages is it is, so there is less or there is no bleeding when you're using this CO2 lasers. Then it results in a, because there is less bleeding, so it results in a dry surgical field. Then there is reduction of the surgical time due to better visibility, as this is a dry surgical field. So because of that, the surgical time, it gets reduced because you are visibly, so you are getting better visibility. Then there is reduced swelling, reduced pain. Then there is less or no sutures which are required, and there is less scarring. So these are the advantages of the CO2 laser. Then it was reported the use of CO2 laser, it was unfavorable because of the loss of the odontoblastic layer, and because of that the CO2, so this person Victor et al in 1993, he said that it is unfavorable because of the loss of the odontoblastic layer. Now this is now where you have seen, so this is a case in which the frenectomy is done. So in this frenum, so there was a frenum which was causing problems. So because of that, with the help of CO2 laser, you're removing that frenum. And the next over here, this is the removal of the fibroma. So over here, this is the excisional. So this is a fibroma. And over here, this is the excisional biopsy, which is done with the help of the CO2 laser. The clinical note is it is an ideal laser wavelength for the soft tissue, and especially it is used in cutting the dense fibrous tissue. Now the wavelength is too high, and then it is used in the cutting of a dense fibrous tissue. Next is the ERG-YAG. So ERG-YAG, it is the active medium, it is a solid. Now we have seen all were the solid. Only the CO2, it has the gas active medium. Then it contains yttrium aluminium garnet that is doped with erbium. The wavelength, it is 2940 nanometers, and it coincides with the absorption peak of the water. It has excellent absorption in the water. Then it is delivered through the fiber optic system. Now only CO2, till now CO2 was the one which was delivered through hollow tube. All the three ones which we have seen already. So the third one is this one, which is delivered through a fiber optic system in a pulse mode. Then with ERG-YAG laser, minimal thermal damage to the dentin is seen, and the removed infected or the softened dentin, so the dentin to the same degree as the burr treatment. So this is like you'll see there is minimal thermal damage to the dentin with the help of this ERG-YAG. Then the advantage of these lasers for the soft tissue is that with very high absorption of water, only a few layers of tissue they are removed with each pulse of the laser energy. So removal and the reshaping it can proceed with precision. Now the applications of this ERG-YAG is in the caries detection and removal, then the removal of the dental fillings, then it can be used in the removal of the gold and ceramic fillings, then apexotomy. The next, so these all are the applications of the ERG-YAG. So over here now you can see the hard tissue removal with the help of this ERG-YAG, and you can do the access cavity open with the ERG-YAG. So you are opening the access, so you are doing the access preparation with the help of a ERG-YAG. One is the argon. So argon, again, it has a gas medium. Now only two we have seen. So CO2 and argon, they have the active gas medium. There are two like emission wavelength for argon, which is 488, which is blue in color, and 540 nanometers, which is blue green in color. So it is delivered again through the fiber optic. Then the 488 nanometer emission is the exact wavelength which is needed to activate the, so it is used in the resins. So this is a composite resin, so it is used in activating the resins. Then it is used to cure the light activated composites, light activated impression material, and the light activated bleaching gel. So it activates all these different materials. Then 514 nanometer, it has the highest absorption in the hemoglobin, and it is used for its good hemostatic capabilities. So the specific uses of this argon is root planing and curettage. Then it can be used in gingival retraction. The next is gingivectomy and gingivoplasty. Then it can be used in oral lesion therapy. It removes the surface epithelium and the necrotic tissue, and it disinfect the wound. Laser is applied until the lesion has like desiccated appearance, and the necrotic cells they have the glazed appearance. So it is help in, so this argon laser is helping in removing that necrotic layer. Then it is used in tissue welding. So these are the specific uses of argon. Now over here there was a hemangioma which is present. So there is a labial hemangioma over here. So this is a hemangioma, labial hemangioma. So with the help of this argon layer, you are excising that lesion over here. So these all are the 5 lasers which are commonly used in dentistry. Now, what are the applications of laser in endodontics particularly? So, the first application is it is used in the vascular vitality assessment of the pulp. Now, there are various tests which are done to assess the vitality of the pulp. That can be heat test, cold test, electric pulp testers. But the problem with that test are, so it can show like false positive errors, and because of that you need a more proper way of assessing the vitality of the pulp. So laser doppler flowmetry, it is an accurate method to assess the blood flow in a microvascular system. So this is the first application. I'm going to explain about what this application, so what this laser doppler flowmetry is in the further videos. But now first thing that you need to remember for the application of laser is that it is used in the vitality assessment of the pulp. So the next application is it is used in the obturation. Now there are various techniques for obturation. So thermoplasticide gutta percha obturation system, it is one of the most efficient method in achieving a fluid impervious seal. Now for this you need to soften the gutta percha. So the softening of the gutta percha, it has been attempted with the help of laser. So the lasers which are used in the obturation are argon, CO2, Nd:YAG or ErgYAG. So this is the next application is it is used in the obturation. Now the next application is it is used in the apical surgery. Now apical surgery including the apical resection, it is indicated when the previously performed root canal therapy it fails or the non-surgical means they are inadequate to remove the pathological, so whatever the pathological things are present, so it is inadequate to remove that. So for that you need to go for the apical surgery which can be root resection. So in that you are using the lasers for the apical surgery. Now the potential for using the lasers, it is based on the following observations. The first is the ability of the laser to coagulate and seal the small blood vessels and thereby it ensures a bloodless surgical field. Then it can be used, so this causes sterilization of the surgical site, and because of that it can be used in apical surgery. So because of that the lasers are used in apical surgery. Then the potential of lasers, that is particularly ErgYAG, to cut the hard dental tissues without causing the elaborate thermal damage to the adjoining tissues, and because of that you can use this in the apical surgery. Now they so the author who has successfully treated an apical abscess using a CO2 laser was Messerendino in 1988, and there was another person, Ebihara, who proved the ability of ErgYAG laser to prepare a apical retrograde cavity. So these are the application. Now the next application is pulp capping and pulpotomy. Now this pulp capping and pulpotomy, it constitute a more conservative form of pulp therapy when you're comparing it with pulpectomy. So this pulpotomy and pulp capping, it is used when the exposure it is 1 mm or it is less and when the patient is young. So pulpotomy it is recommended in a immature permanent teeth where the pulpectomy it is not advised. So in that case you are using, so in this you are using lasers to do this pulp capping and pulpotomy. So the use of laser in this procedure, it leads to the potentially bloodless field, as a laser they have the ability to coagulate and seal these small blood vessels. Now the laser tissue interaction, they make the treated wound sterile and also it improves the prognosis. So Moritz et al, he showed a significant superior success rate with the CO2 laser aided pulp capping, and Leo in 2006 he did a clinical trial of Nd:YAG. So for pulp capping you're using CO2, and for pulpotomy you're using Nd:YAG on the primary molars, and he found that the success rate it was 97% and clinically, and it was 94.1% radiographically. Now the next application is so the lasers it can be used in the disinfection of the root canal. Now the ability of the bacterial pathogen to persist even after the shaping and the cleaning, it is one of the main reason for the endodontic failure, and because of that you need to properly disinfect the root canal. So this various lasers they are used for the disinfection of the root canals. So the lasers which are commonly used are the CO2 and Nd:YAG, and there are other lasers also like diode, argons. So the laser which are delivered with the help of fibro optic, they are Nd:YAG, argon and diode, and the hollow tube delivery system is for the CO2 and ErgYAG. So we have already seen about this. Then Goodies et al, he concluded that there are several limitations with the intracanal use of the lasers. Now the laser beam it is directed vertically downwards into the root canal and not laterally. So this is further compromised by the inherent curvature which is present in the root canal, and thus it is not possible to laser irradiate all the dimension of root canal completely. So this was the limitation in the case of disinfection of the root canal. Is the laser fluorescence, that is known as diagnodent. So this is a method of diagnosing. So with the help of laser you are diagnosing the caries. So it is used, so this laser fluorescence it is used in the detection for the occlusal and the smooth surface caries. Then it uses a diode laser light source and a fiber optic cable that transmits the light to a hand held probe with a fiber optic eye in the tip. So this is delivered through a fiber optic system. Then it emitted fluorescence it is collected at the probe tip and it is transmitted through the ascending fiber and processed and presented on the display window as the integer between 0 and 99. So there is increased fluorescence if the carrier state is it more it if it is more than 20%. Then it results in the in vitro studies indicated Diagnodent reading shows a very good correlation with the histological evidence of the caries, but not with the depth of the lesion into dentines. So this is basically laser. With the help of laser, you're detecting the occlusal and the smooth surface caries. So this is a diagnodent. So this was all about lasers in depth that are used in dentistry and the applications of them. And one of the common question SAQ which is asked is a diagnodent also. So this was all about it. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, then please like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.